Bondo ape. It's a larger version of
as the Bondo ape or bay ape. These creatures are said to walk on 2 feet, stand the size of a grown man, and nest on the ground like gorillas. The Bondo ape, or billy ape, was first reported in 2003 and was described as being a giant chimpanzee that walked on its hind legs, used tools, and lived deep in the Congo. By local natives, they have a reputation for being lion killers and are incredibly violent. Some claim they are an entirely new species of great ape, while others maintain they are a cross between chimpanzees and gorillas. Did we just discover an entirely new species? Could this be a groundbreaking moment for primate research? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind the incredible strength and intelligence of this giant chimpanzee. The first scientific reports came after seeing unusual skulls at a Belgian museum. These apes is further compounded by the fact that Ammon discovered extraordinarily enormous fecal matter and footprints larger than those of gorillas. Ammon visited a region with a team of international academics that he had previously dispatched to conduct preliminary research on behalf of a Cameroonian bushmeat hunter. Despite not seeing any chimpanzees, they found multiple well-worn ground nests in marshy riverbeds. We can see a wide expanse of heathland, which is fantastic habitat for ground nesting birds. Birds include nightjars, woodlarks, and Dartford warblers, which make their nests on the ground. It became simpler for scientists to carry out fieldwork in the Congo after the end of the Second Congo War in 2003. The Second Congo War began in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in August 1998. The war officially ended in July 2003 when and 4 of them came rushing towards her through the brush. Had they been planning a mock charge, they would have been yelling to scare them. They were enormous, but they kept quiet. They were approaching to kill, but as soon as they saw her face, they halted and vanished. Williams says she learned Lingala and that people in the area divided great apes into 2 categories: the tree beaters, who, in an attempt to stay safe, hide high in the trees where they are readily hit by the poison arrows shot by the local hunters, and the lion killers, who are larger, darker, and don't get hit by poisoned arrows. They also don't usually climb trees. During her summer journey, Williams claimed to have seen 3 different species of chimpanzees. However, in the following years, questions were raised about these outrageous claims. A few years later, Dr. Cleve Hicks, a primatologist, and his colleagues spent at least 20 hours on their skulls and built their nests on the ground, not at all like chimps. They were also recorded breaking up termite mounds and cracking open a tortoise's shell with a rock, acting as an anvil. The average-looking termite mound, but these ones are a little bit special, are called magnetic termite mounds, and the termites inside can actually build their nests using the magnetic fields of the Earth. Little is known about the behavior of the chimpanzees in the Bay region, particularly considering the multiple wars that have destroyed the area in recent decades and prevented conservation efforts. Let's look at what we know about these chimpanzees so far. The billy apes. Williams first claimed that the apes were over 5.7 ft tall, walked upright, and resembled giant chimps. However, further investigation discovered that the apes resembled the extinct Australopithecine Australopithecus in several ways. Williams asserted that female bay apes do not. Their food is distinctly chimpanzee-like, mainly consisting of fruits. Hicks found their behavior toward humans intriguing. They would come face to face, stare intently, then slide away quietly. There was little to no aggression, but there was also no fear. Gorilla males will always charge when they encounter a hunter, but there were no stories like that about the chimpanzees. In 2004, Hicks observed one group far from the roads and villages, saying that when they encountered it, the chimps not only approached the humans, but would surround them with keen curiosity. Williams' claims are clarified by Hicks, who states that almost always, apes within 20 kilometers of the highways flee from humans. The most terrified are the adult males. However, the chimpanzees grow increasingly naive as they get farther from the roads. These apes appear intrigued. even though they stay away from so they could be cracked open, and discovered a turtle that chimpanzees had mostly crushed. The bay chimps fish for ants with sticks. Unbeknownst to most, there are far more bay apes than previously thought. They make up the majority of the species' surviving population in Africa. Hicks and his crew discovered chimpanzees throughout a 7,000 square kilometer area while conducting surveys. The apes of bay are by no means safe. Carl Ammon, who studied these animals, conservationist and filmmaker, has been working hard for the past 30 years to expose illegal wildlife trade all around the world. He believes that most of the region has become more unruly and independent due to the lack of a strong central administration. From a conservation standpoint, this is disastrous. Stay tuned. The story is just getting interesting. Conservation efforts. A research team from the University of large population of chimpanzees. There may be a cultural connection between the northern and southern tribes based on behavioral continuity evidence. According to Thurston C. Hicks, their results suggest that a large and widespread population of chimpanzees inhabits the forests and savannas of northern DRC. This population may be the largest viable population of this subspecies, but it currently lacks protection. It has remained unknown to researchers until recently. The researchers discovered that there had not been a decrease in the number of chimpanzee sleeping nests since 2005, when they revisited some of these transects in 2012. Although the number of chimpanzees in this area has not decreased in the past 10 years, there are new indications that the bushmeat trade is becoming a greater danger to the population. The director of the Department of Primatology at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, coaching from worsening. Congo has some very distinct species of animals, and it would be a shame to see them go extinct. The Congo isn't just about deep, dark jungles. They're a vital meeting place for numerous species, which gives me an opportunity to spot wildlife that's normally hidden deep in the forest. Another mysterious chimpanzee species in Congo that will interest you is the wild bonobos. Wild bonobos. The Lomako and Wamba locations in the Democratic Republic of the Congo are where most of our knowledge about wild bonobos originates. Due to flooded places, accessing the dense forest home to bonobos is pretty tricky. Yellow fever and malaria are two illnesses that pose a risk to human habitation and research. These challenges restrict the number of researchers who can study animals here. The fact that this part of Africa has experienced colonialism and war since the late 20th century is another restrictive. According to genetic research, chimpanzees and bonobos are different yet closely related animals. Human genetics and that of bonobos and chimpanzees are closely connected. About 98% of our genes are shared by these two species. Most people know that chimpanzees are our close cousin. They share over 98% of our DNA. But you may not know that we also have another primate cousin just as close. And there's no denying that bonobos and humans behave quite similarly when moving, sitting, and eating fruit. That's not all. Compared to ordinary chimpanzees, bonobos have longer limbs, darker faces, pinker lips, tail tufts that remain until adulthood, and longer, parted hair. Some have thinner, sparser hair on certain parts of their bodies. The ancestors of the genus Pan broke from the human line approximately 8 million years ago, and bonobos split from the standard chimpanzee line